Does it really help? And if it helps, karma yoga, what we discussed no last session, we have started. And in fact, karma yoga started from second chapter itself. If you remember, the context of Bhagavad Gita is that Arjuna is refusing to fight Kurukshetra with his cousins because he feels that it is not appropriate to fight with our own people with whom we have grown, and they have done so much for us, and particularly teachers and uncles and aunts and all those. So it becomes a very critical situation for Arjuna to fight, and therefore he refuses, he gives up, and he becomes very anxious and stressed out, and therefore he says he asks Krishna to relieve him of this great terrible task of fighting with his own people. This we all know. But Krishna wants him to fight because it's a decision. I mean, that is the thing to be done now. That's what Krishna has already told him. But he knows everything. Krishna is the avatara, Parabrahmana avatara. But still, he kind of counsels him and changes his mind, or convinces him rather, to think in his own way and not to give up his duty as a Kshatriya. So, Kshatriya's duty is to fight, and he cannot go back in any battle. Now, Arjuna is facing a terrible situation wherein he wants to fight. He will never, he will never run away from the battlefield. He has never run away, and he has fought several battles. But this is a very crucial situation where emotionalism, sentimentalism, attachment, because of all that, his mind becomes deluded. Moha means because of attachment. He cannot think in the right way. This happens with all of us. So Krishna takes him from such a very critical situation where Arjuna is supposed to take a very strong, practical, unattached stand with his own people. This is a very tough thing to happen. In order to bring him to that state of mind, from the state where Arjuna had dropped down his Gandiva, that is the bow, and then he refuses, and he's totally unable to stand up. So, and physically he starts manifesting those symptoms. So from that state, Krishna brings him gradually, making him understand the entire purpose of creation, who is he and why he should fight, what a stand he has to take, what others have taken, and trying to make him understand the entire philosophy of life. And this is one context which is deliberately done. And as I mentioned earlier, Krishna has come to take care of the righteous people. Apart from that, the biggest gift in Krishna Avatara is Bhagavad Gita, because he has realized that people coming after this, in the yuga that comes after this, Kali Yuga, and evolution wise, this is a yuga where people always get stuck in the dilemma wherein what is right, what is wrong. So they will start having these kind of dualities in their own mind. So today one of my Guruji, she is a senior monk in Ramakrishna Ashram, she was mentioning, see, in Satyuga is when all these Matsya Avatara and all happened. No, that time there were fights between the planets, it seems. It was not between the individuals. Then came Treta Yuga, where Rama Avatara. During that time there were fights between different countries, Sri Lanka, India, like that. After that, in Dwapara Yuga came fights among the relatives. In Kali Yuga, the fight is within ourselves. The Mahabharata depicts always there is a conflict between the good and bad. And we cannot, until we are realized, we cannot call ourselves as Siddhi Purusha. Just because we are coming to Bhagavad Gita, we are reading, we are attending, that doesn't mean that we don't get negative thoughts. We do get, and the entire effort is to get over these and to go in the righteous path, and to keep reminding. This whole journey is a consistent effort. This Bhagavad Gita and following a spiritual path, no, it is a consistent effort. It doesn't come within a day. Today I have read, I have understood, no, the next day the mind again pulls you back to the same expectations, to the same desires, to the same kind of, attachment and all that. So again we have to do meditation or bring back our mind or bring good thoughts. So like that, continuously if you keep on putting those efforts, the initial development will be to, the evil thoughts are won over by the noble thoughts, and that we have to make an effort to keep them consistently. Our mind should always think, always be in that platform. So that is the challenge, and once we keep doing that consistently, our mind becomes pure and we get this wisdom, and then the bhakti comes in, and permanently Lord Krishna's or Parabrahma, whoever, whatever you call him, he sits in our, mind or heart or, whatever it is, and he manifests. He's always there, but the manifestation, that means we get cleared of our own illusion or our own ignorance, and we try to understand this entire world as it is. So the whole effort of understanding Gita is to get this wisdom more and more. We are trying to understand with every chapter the subtleness of whatever is happening around us. Subtleness, we are going deep into that. Krishna is making us understand. He is actually going very deep, what I should say, in a very stepwise fashion also. And if we concentrate, we will understand. It is so mysterious. Fascinating though it is there, but it's very mysterious, which if we are in the superficial plane of our day-to-day activities, we will not follow. It requires enormous commitment, concentration, which I and you already have to some extent. We are in the path, and therefore we are able to understand. So with that, we will start today's this thing. We had stopped at the 10th verse of chapter 2. This is Karma Yoga. Chapter 2 is Karma Yoga, wherein in the second chapter also it is Sankhya Yoga. Second chapter, Sankhya Yoga, or the yoga of knowledge, analytical knowledge, yoga of knowledge or analysis, wherein Krishna is making Arjuna understand the creation, the body, your Atma, and then he has brought aspects of what is called Buddhi Yoga and then Karma Yoga. So, if the Buddhi is given, is surrendered, then what happens is you attain a state called Sthita Prajna. That also is very important aspect. Then he talks about controlling various emotions and all that, how you can control, what is the source of anger, what is the source of attachment. And if you understand you are the real Satchidananda Swarupa, and this all these mind, body, intellect and our relations are just passing, they are temporary, then you do not feel grief for anything, you don't get stressed. All that he brings. Then in this first 10 chapters, he first 10 shlokas of this chapter, which is termed as Karma Yoga, he comes to, he brings the concept of how an ordinary person can spiritualize his day-to-day activities. I wouldn't say ordinary, rather what are the two paths. Arjuna asks him that when you are talking about Sankhya, Jnana, Buddhi Yoga, I should do, then why can't I sit and just meditate, give up all these actions, particularly this terrible action, and devote myself for realization? That is also a good path. So Krishna says, yes, you can do that. In the further chapters, he talks about the drawbacks of this path. But here also he says, just by abandoning the actions, you cannot say you are getting into Jnana Marga. That is called Jnana Marga. So you cannot, your buddhi can be done by following actions also. Whatever you are expected to act. So action, this whole thing is called yoga of action. Karma yoga means yoga of action. You cannot be inactive because the body is designed in such a way that he says, nahi kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtati akarmakrit. That means you cannot relax even for a single minute, even if you want to do. That is how the prakriti, the nature has been designed. Because of your gunas, you will constantly, you will choose the type of action or the karma people do varies depending on their gunas. But nobody can sit without action. At the most, they may be lazy, they may relax, but not for long, because human body is designed in such a way that because of their prakriti, karyate yavashah karma, sarvaha prakriti jai gunaihi. Then he also says, you may tell Arjuna that you will withdraw from all actions, but it is not so easy. And if a person sits doing dhyana and tries to get that wisdom just by abandoning actions, but in the mind he starts thinking, he starts fantasizing the things, he starts imagining several things, because mind is not so it's not such a easy thing to be controlled. So your mind keeps thinking about all the sensual enjoyments, and then but you pretend to sit, then you are called as hypocrite. Mithyacharaha sa uchyate. So therefore he says, the body is designed very beautifully. You have to act. So just keep working. And he says, whatever is allotted to you, niyatam kuru karma. That means whatever is your given responsibility based on your role in the society, in the family, and based on your age, based on that you keep doing without any expectation, without any attachment, and controlling the sense organs. And then finally he says, yajnarthat, yajna. You must do your karma, because karma is yajna. He comes to that. He says, lokoyam karma bandhana. Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma. Anything which is done with an attitude other than that of yajna will lead to a bondage. What is bondage? We all have discussed. Bondage is a phenomenon wherein we create our own destiny. We come back again and again into this cycle of birth and death, because we are so much attached to the results of action. We expect so much, we perform, and then immediately we say it should happen like this only. I should get this kind of circumstances, I should get this family. So those attachments and craving for such happy situations, or pleasant situations rather, so that creates a karma bandhana. Rather, if we say I have done my duty, this is an yajna offering to God, which we have discussed. Karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, without expecting the results, and performing as though it is yajna. Yajna is a sacrifice of fire. We put those homa kunda and all that, no, that kind of thing. So he has simplified, and Krishna has told, just perform your karma as yajna. That means we must be conscious. We must be conscious, aware of this aspect, and do the karma. Then it becomes a yajna. So that it is not easy, because we have been conditioned since several births, and from the childhood we have been hypnotized, because everything is like, for a purpose only, either for promotions or for money or for comforts or whatever. That is a conditioning we have got. So to get out of that and say, you cannot, no need to give up everything, but whatever you are enjoying, give it as yajna. So we had stopped there. Then in the 10th shloka, Krishna says, when the Brahma created the whole creation, he has created yajnas as well as human beings. Saha yajnaha prajaha srishtva anena prasa vishvam esha ostishta kamaduk. That means he says he has created yajnas, he has created human beings, and he has told that the yajna are like, do them and then try to get whatever you desire for, whatever you wish to. So whatever we wish, we will get, but that depends on the karma, how we do, how much we do, with what attitude we do. So there we had stopped. Now the next 10 shlokas we shall take today. Devan bhavayatanena te deva bhavayantu vaha parasparam bhavayantaha shreyah paramavapsyatha. Now he says Devas. He has brought this concept of Devas. Who are these Devas? These are considered as celestial gods. So in the Vedic times, or before that, Vedic times is roughly before Krishna's thing, that was around Treta Yuga and all that. So Vedas started from time immemorial. Vedas came from the time of creation. So all those wise, all those years, no. So they speak about these devas, devatas. These devatas are like god of fire, god of wind, Varuna, god of fire Agni. So you would have heard about all this. No, in our philosophy, Indian system, we have several such gods and goddesses, and the Vedic descriptions talk about each devata having a particular responsibility. Just like we have in an organization, the job profile created for different people based on their capabilities and their positions and all that. Similarly, Brahma creates Devatas, human beings, vegetations, everything, but he has allocated them. Okay, so Agni Devata is for Agni, Surya Deva for the light, Aditya. Like that, there are Devatas. So Krishna is saying now, you have to do yajna. Okay, so there are this interpretation I have taken from Swami Mukundananda also and Swami Jagadatmananda also. So these Devatas, no, they are celestial gods who do really exist, and there are enough evidences to prove that there is a world of these Devatas, and they exist means they exist everywhere around us also, taking care of so many things, particularly these 5 elements which we talk about and the creation. And there are Abhimani Devatas in our body also. Abhimani Devatas in our body also. That means they regulate the sense functioning of these sense organs, functioning of the vision, functioning of the hearing, functioning of the taste and speech. All this is regulated by different Devatas. There is I will discuss that, I think I have already discussed. So each Devata has been given, is called Abhimani Devata. Scientifically, what we do is, whenever we see something, there is a afferent pathway, since all of us are medical people here, afferent, efferent, everything is there. But what regulates? What is that energy which controls? So for that they say there is a Devata, because just by seeing like this, can I conceptualize the image what I am having here? No, it goes, something does the processing there. That processing is happening, but it is not automatic. I mean, there is something which is controlling. So those, they say, Abhimani Devatas in the body and around us and physically in the Devata Loka. So whenever you want to have some desire fulfilled, you can call those Devatas. Supposing it doesn't rain, people used to worship Lord Indra, perform yajna, and it used to rain. So this is how there is a solution for any problem the human beings on the earth face. This is how the creation has been done by Lord Brahma. That's what he says. So Devan Bhavayatanena, that means if you can please Devan, you can please the Devatas by performing these yajnas, and then they also will get pleased by you, and then they give, as I told, simple thing like there are no rains and there is a famine. So they used to pray God Indra and then call him. Even today we perform Surya Namaskar, or every day the people used to take bath in the river and you used to give arghya for looking at the sun god. And sun god is an extraordinary source of energy for the body. He gives, and today also we know sunlight is an extremely good source of vitamin D, activation of vitamin D in the body. So they know that these Devatas are existing in the form of matter around us, and they are the ones who are nourishing this body also, who are responsible for success of all the activities which we are doing around. So he says, perform yajna, invoke those gods, they will be pleased. In turn, they will bless you. Okay, and then they get satisfied, and then together you can achieve prosperity. Their mutual cooperation, great prosperity will be achieved. That is the meaning of this shloka. That means gods must be pleased by offering. So he says, to satisfy them and get benefits, we must perform action. To satisfy them, what we should do? We must perform. He says, parasparam bhavayantaha shreyaha parama vapsyatha. So in order to do this, you must perform yajna. To please the gods and goddesses, you must perform yajna. So yajna could be as sacrifice as prescribed by Vedas. Though that karma those days, described in the Vedas, was those yajna also, as well as activities. Today, if we are not able to perform that kind of yajna, our karma action itself should be considered as yajna. And as we said, it becomes a yajna when we we sacrifice, or we sacrifice the results, just like what Krishna has told, and we offer. That's not like sacrifice. We offer whatever we have done. Krishna arpanamastu. That's what we say, no? So that is what is the meaning. So here Krishna brings. In other words, what I would rather say is, he's saying, Arjuna, it's not difficult. Do the karma, but take the help of Devatas. They are here only around you, accessible, approachable, nearby. They will help you. You invoke them or just pray them. They will do. At the same time, the commentators also say, and Krishna has told in further chapters, that there are so many Devatas, and whatever you offer to them ultimately comes to me only. He has told very clearly, you can follow any god, Ganapati, Krishna, Subramanya, Ayyappan, any gods and goddesses, Indra, Rudra, whatever. So when you pray them, ultimately it comes to me only. I will be there partaking the offerings. So any offering you do to Devatas, it is coming to me. So that means we are, in other words, offering everything to Lord. So he says that. And apart from that, if you directly pray Vishnu or Krishna, Parabrahma, as we are doing in Karma Yoga, then you have direct access, isn't it? That also is yajna. Karma phala tyaga is also yajna. You can do yajnas, invoke god and goddesses and offer something to the homa and everything. That is also correct. This is also correct. If you directly invoke the Parabrahma and offer whatever you are working, results of your action or whatever you have worked, you offer it to him, that is directly going to him. Both the ways it can be done. Then he says, Ishtan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yajna bhavitaha tairdattan apradayabhyo yo bhungte stena eva saha. So these devatas, Ishtan bhogan hi vo deva dasyante yajna bhavitaha. So he says the devas will give you your whatever desired objects, and but so now you have prayed, you have done the yajna, you have offered him, and then you will ask for some, initially our bhakti is always with an objective, with a purpose. So you are granted with those desires, but they say they will grant their grace, blessings and everything, but if you do not offer it back, you get the desire. Supposing you want to own something, you get it, but as soon as you get, very few of us will offer it back and say, this is yours, it's your prasad, I am enjoying it, thank you very much, it's your prasad. How many of us remember and do this? We don't do that. So if you cannot do this, then you are, he says, you are a thief. Tairdattan apradayabhyo yo bhungte stena eva saha. A person, he calls him a thief. Krishna is telling, that means it doesn't belong to you, still you are occupying. It is as good as, you go to somebody's house and then you just barge into their house. You don't even ask for their permission. You just go and drink a glass of milk or glass of water or take some fruits. Will you do that without taking their permission? You'll never do that. If you are doing that, you say, kalla kalla banda, thief, chor hai. So that it is as bad as that. Krishna says, offering back, that means we already have we have our Swamiji Nirbayananda Saraswati, my Guruji, he used to tell, grace is always there. Don't you have the wind blowing? Don't you have the water? Don't you have a shelter, house to stay, or the trees around? You have such greenery. So much of all this is grace. And nature has already given you tremendous, support to do whatever you want. Whatever you want. There is absolutely no reason for us to crib when we have so much of nature, particularly people living in India or countries like this, and I and you, because we have everything around, nature and sea. Let's not talk about money matters. Money also plenty we have. So all this is given. When that is given, then what is the offering? You have to give back to the society. You should make use of all this available matter, material, whatever. Give back. Give back means what? Serve the people, serve your neighbor, serve the society, serve the nation, serve the humanity, and show the gratitude. That is how you show the gratitude. Rather, whatever nature has given, with ignorance, we claim that to be our own. We think this house is yours, ours, this property is ours. this institution is ours. Everything, nanu, self-centered obsession or proprietorship or ownership is a big ignorant approach. We must always think that we are here because so much has gone into my making of this personality. So many things have gone. I got my parents, I got good education, they gave me the education. For them somebody provided the money, somebody else, some the government gave. For that government somebody. So if you see, there is a interplay of so many stakeholders in making one personality like me. All of us, me, you and I, all of us, great or not great, I am not talking one person, how much of efforts, but what we do out of ego. Ignorance means ego is nothing but ignorance. What out of this ego we think that I have earned, I studied, I worked hard, that's why I got this. That should not be the attitude. Everything has come by divine grace or by the nature, and of course I have put my free will, I have made some choices, good choices in my life, but now whenever we get, we should always offer, and only then that becomes yajna. And actually this attitude of gratitude, we must develop this attitude of gratitude. So if you do not, then it is not going to be those who then this is the 12th one, no? Yeah. Then यज्ञशिष्टाशिनः सन्तो मुच्यन्ते सर्वकिल्बिषैः भुञ्जते ते त्वघं पापा ये पचन्त्यात्मकारणात्. So here he says, when you have your food, what is this food? Food is actually, let's leave our position, money, education, everything. Food is the basic thing which we have worked for, isn't it? We for what are we working? It is basically for the food only. So when you eat that food which is given by the nature, of course with your intervention, let's accept, we must eat it as a prasad after offering. So he says, when we perform yajna, the actual yajna, we offer and then we partake that as prasad. Similarly, whenever we prepare anything, whenever we make any food, that also should be considered as an offering to the God, and then you eat, then only you eat this food. So that means when you eat such a food which is already offered to God, then only you are gunjat. Such a person, for him, muchyante sarva kilbishaihi, is cleared of all the sins. That means when you offer, you are conscious of divine presence. So the minute divine presence comes, he clears off all those impurities or negative thoughts. That is only papa or sin. Papa or sin means wrong thinking, ignorance. So he clears that. He makes you purer. He makes you more positive. So offer to God and have your food. Therefore, in another shloka he says, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavihi Brahmagno Brahmanahutau Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. Everything has started with Brahma. The Ahuti is Brahma, the Bhokta is Brahma, the person who is offering is Brahma. Everything is Brahmamaya. There is nothing beyond Brahma here. With this thought, we should eat, we should offer, and without offering. So, even in our religion also, this has to be done. When you sit for food, you have to offer and you have to eat. There are 2-3 advantages of this. One is you are offering, so your ego comes down. Second thing, at a very practical level, if you say, Swami Mukundananda says, see, in today's world, we don't know what kind of food we are eating. Adulteration is there, pesticides may be there, it may not be pure, genetically modified food is there. We don't know what is its impact on this body. What if we can offer this to God? So there is every possibility. He says with conviction that when you offer it to the divine, your mind also becomes pure and the food also becomes pure, and its adverse effects are also not happening. So probably we must start making this as a habit whenever we sit. I have observed many Christian families offering, and the whole family sits and then they pray God and then they have the food. Indian system also, it used to be there, but it has got diluted. More than that, entire family sitting for the. Anybody has any raised hand? Yeah.
Ma'am, we
Yeah.
are practicing that. The
Very
same
good.
shloka, all
Ah.
of us, we
Ah.
chant it and then only we start our food.
Which one? Brahmarpanam.
Brahmarpan,
Oh,
Brahmarpan.
excellent, excellent, very good. I also do as individual because for the reason, some reasons others may or may not. But for my that is very good, Chaitali. Excellent. I'm so happy. So if you do that, then your whole body. Did you do that from the beginning or recently started? How is it?
Recently, since few months, we have been doing, ma'am.
Very good, excellent. So that should come. I'm sure all of you search for this shloka, Brahmarpanam. It's a Bhagavad Gita shloka only. Because he says, and one more thing he says is invoke and aham vaishvanaro bhutva praninam deham ashraya. Ashritaha. That means what he says is, I am sitting there as the fire of digestion. That means the energy that does all these processes, physiological processes, that is nothing but Brahma. So we are sinking the external Brahma, internal Brahma, everything is Brahmamaya, no? So he says, offer the food and then partake that. Similarly, offer the actions to him and enjoy the results. It means that way also. The hidden meaning is, whenever you get success, first thing is go to the puja room or remember God and say, this is your prasad. Why it is his prasad, you tell me? Because everything is given by him. I made a choice only and I took the step, and for that also your grace is there. Without his grace you cannot make the right choice. But who made it happen? Yeah, anybody? Who made it happen? It is you. So therefore it's for you. Krishna, it's for you. So offer that. So food also you offer, work also you offer. So that makes it, so if you do that, then you are cleared of all your past, tendencies, I can say. I will not call it as sins, but your accumulated negativity, whatever is it, that's otherwise. If a person cooks for himself, bunjate te tuham papa, ye pachanti atma karanat. If he wants to cook for himself, I want to enjoy pani puri, masala puri, your gobi manchuri, baby corn, whatever you want, anything you want, you offer and eat. Nothing, no harm, and rather you will become purer and purer. But if you cook for yourself without remembering this, most of us do that. We forget. Only few like Chaitali and all will remember. We ourselves may not remember. So that I mean, this is a very one of the ways. Apart from so many things he has told, no, he's giving all the what we say. It's a multidisciplinary, we can call it. I am very fond of that word. Multidisciplinary approach towards moksha. So what kind of food, how to offer, how to do that action. So he says, if you cook for yourself and you say, I am eating without remembering me or without being aware of divine consciousness, then that becomes he says it is uh, papa. They will have to face it, because that means it builds up the ego. How it works? You are not offering, so it builds up your ego, because you feel you have cooked, my money, I cooked, I am eating, I am enjoying. Life is only once to enjoy. These things will build up your ego. Then why papa will happen? Because when you are under the influence of ego, you will commit 110 mistakes. On the other hand, when you start offering, when your ego starts coming down, there is clarity, good, better choice of your actions in future. So naturally your path becomes very smooth. अन्नात् भवन्ति भूतानि पर्जन्यात् अन्नसम्भवः यज्ञात् भवति पर्जन्यो यज्ञः कर्म समुद्भवः. Excellent shloka. So what he says is, this is the 14th shloka. Annat bhavanti bhutani. How are the individuals, human beings, how do they exist now? They are created by Anna. Annat bhavanti bhutani. All the living beings are born. He goes in a retrograde fashion. Annat bhavanti bhutani. So the food is the one which is making the human body, or the animals, or the bhutani, all living beings. Then who made this Anna? Parjanyat Anna Sambhava. Parjanya is rains, isn't it? The rain and the sunlight, of course, understood, on the earth. All these 5 elements help for, but mainly it is without rains, how will you get the produce in the fields, isn't it? So Annat Bhavanti Bhutani. All the living beings are made because of Anna. We eat and we grow. And This anna, the grains, are because of the rains. And how did the rain happen? Yajna bhavati parjanyo. Look at that. He says the rains are because of yajna. Isn't it very logical? Yajna also means the homa havana. Yajna also means the hard work. Isn't it? Yajna also means the hard work. The farmer has worked. Yajna is karma yajna. Karma could be the rituals as well as the hard work. So he says yajnat bhavati parjanyu. He's saying all these forces of nature, they are in an ecological balance because of yajna, and karma is one of the important yajna, action. So he says he gives so much of importance. So yajnat bhavati parjanyo. That means the rains are happening because of people putting in there so much of effort, and then the rains happen. Let's look into that. Then yajnaha karma samudbhavaha. How did his yajna come? So beautifully says annad bhavanti bhutani. From the grains came the human being. From where did the grains come? From the rains. From where did the rains come? From the yajna. And how did the yajna happen? Karma. Yajna happened. Karma samudbhavaha. Karma created the yajna. Karma means actions. And what are those actions? Selfless actions. Selfless actions. These are the main. Yajna cannot be a negative action. I mean, wrong actions are not going to get converted or transcribed into a yajna. So it is the good intentions of people, good intentions, hard work. A farmer today, of course, there is commercialization. It has to be commercialized because a farmer has to survive. But there is lot of, if you see, no, today's we always read about. As I said, adulterations, use of pesticides, and organic farming comes, and there also there is some kind of dishonesty. So initially it was not like that, and today also not all are like that. There are people who consider. Yesterday I was going through some YouTube channel. Her name is Bidri. She is you might have heard, she is a lady farmer. She has got some Padma Vibhushan or Padma Bhushan award. Bidri, her name is Bidri, near Bijapur, I think. So she says this bhumi, this earth, this land, our land can be made so fertile. We can make so much money as long as we keep, considering her, this bhumi, as our motherland. And we also, because that whole family is supporting, I will share that channel with you. I was very impressed. So they are supporting that family, generations together. They are supporting so many poor people. They are funding the education, and with 2 acres of land, she grows, and she makes within 2-3 months. She grows baby corn, that, this, and all. She sells it again. She makes a bigger. She buys another land. She has got some thousands acres of land. She has got 1,000 acres of land, because her work, because she says we got irrigation, then the rains came. So when your intentions are good, and when you work so hard, and you develop as a selfless personality, then automatically everything is conducive. So he says that karma, because of karma, which is translated a karma which is performed like a yajna, from that yajna you get rains. That means you understand there is some kind of relationship between the forces of nature and man's performance. More people are selfless, more people put hard work, more people are performing karma as yajna, better ecosystem it is. This was very wonderful. This is a cycle, very correct. So when the rains come, you get good grains. When the rains are poor, you may get the grains which are not healthy also. We never know, no? Because it's not conducive for their growth. So good karma leads to good rains. Good rains lead to good grains. Good grains lead to sustenance of all the living beings. Beautiful, very scientifically acceptable statement is this. So this is, he calls it as a chakra. So in the next shloka he comes to that. Now he says, so that is what is, and we must perform therefore yajna. We must perform karma as a yajna, and we must offer so that it becomes a yajna for the ecosystem. So this is our prime responsibility towards ourselves as well as towards the nature, towards everyone in the society or towards mankind. Karma brahmodbhavam vidhi brahmaksharasamudbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yajne pratishtitam. Now he says, he spoke about the significance of karma in the ecological balance. Significance of karma is yajna, and he says Purovacha Prajapati, Brahma created yajna along with the Vedas, and because Vedas are from Brahma's words, right? They have come from there, it is there from the time of creation, irrespective of yugas. And he also says that karma is required as yajna for sustenance of all living beings. Now he says, now you understand that this karma means action, any action. It has taken its birth from Brahma. Brahma means Parabrahma also and creation also. When Brahma created, Parabrahma created Brahma created this universe. So at that time only, as we said yajna, no, he says, now he talks about action per se, that karma has come along with the Brahma's creation, and he lives there. And Brahmakshara is Vedas. So this karma, that means action, how person should act, is described in the Vedas, which have its origin from Brahma directly. When Brahma breathed out, the Vedas came. That's what they say. Vedas were breathed out, and Shabda is the first one. No? So along with that Shabda, Vedas came. Tasmat Sarvagata. Therefore, any action you take, there is Brahma. Because all these have its origin in the Vedas, and it has come from his mouth. And everywhere Sarvagatam, that has permeated the Brahma obviously has permeated everything, living, non-living, dynamic, and which is static, which is jada means which is just inactive. There also he is there, and he is also there in human beings. So karma is nothing but the presence of divine. Good and bad karma doesn't matter. But whenever the karma is taking place, and which is taking place, that is nothing but presence of Krishna, presence of Parabrahma. So you must understand that when we are working, no, just try to be a little cautious. Today I was, this is my first hand experience. As I was reading this, I was under a lot of I was doing multitasking. Though I am at home today, morning I had to do some work for the school. I am attached to one Ramakrishna Mission school. I was preparing the content for website. I finished that, I sent. Then I am the main convener for our get together, our school get together happening after 45 years. We are having Guru Vandana. I am the main convener, and we had to get list of our participants. There was something went wrong, and within the group we have some disparity. All that was happening, I was trying to solve as well as do, and I was also blamed. So many things were happening. Then I had to prepare, I had to go through this and understand. So so many things running in my mind since morning. And when I came to this shloka, the minute I came to this, I was thinking next time onwards I better not to take up such responsibility and all. But the minute I started reading this Karma Yoga, and array, what is this I am talking? Everything is his. Everything is Brahma. We are so minuscule elements thinking that we are doing everything. And just now I told you, morning I was doing that, afternoon I was doing this. Actually, we are doing, means it was his body. But who is doing it? What is the Chaitanya Shakti? What is the energy that is doing? I have only chosen. Otherwise, I am just an instrument allowing that energy to pass. And when I started contemplating on this particular shloka, no, every action he is only there. Then why should I bother? And mind you, yesterday night I have not slept. I slept only for 3 hours. For some reason I could not get sleep, and morning maid came and I got up. But what happened was, I never felt sleepy today, because with this bhava, I was able to overcome the tiredness. And I must say, this experiment proved me so right. It should stay with me forever. But it will, if you remember this, that every action he is there. All the time, every act is God's. Tena vina trinamapi na chalati. That means everything God's wish and will. That is true. Now let us start practicing and realizing he lives in every action. I am speaking, you are listening. He is there. It is He, it is Parabrahma, which is happening. This action, this deal, it's all His. So He's there, that's what He says. This karma, Brahmodbhavam, karma started from Him. It is not only human beings, He created karma along with that. And all those came as Vedas came as a guide for this karma. एवं प्रवर्तितं चक्रं नानुवर्तयति हयः अधायुः इन्द्रियारामो मोघं पार्थ स जीवति. So what he says is, this chakra, what is a chakra? We do the karma, we please the deva devatas also, we do proper karma yajna, and with this karma yajna rains start happening. Then the grains come and the grains will feed all the living beings, and again they perform karma. So it is a cycle, because living beings, when they are nourished by these grains and food and everything, they have to again perform the yajna. So it is a cycle. So he says, evam pravartitam chakram na anuvartayati. A person who does not follow, who does not fit into this cycle. That means what kind of persons? Those who do not perform actions as yajna, they are out of this cycle. So such people, and then they always want to satisfy for their self pleasure, indriya ramo, mogham parthasa jivati. That means this kind of life is it goes in vain. They live the life, but it goes in vanity. There's no purpose, there's no meaning to this life. Krishna says the life has to be taken very seriously from this aspect. That means we are part of this chakra. Everything is happening in a automated fashion. If you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. So it follows a particular pattern, and we should surrender and perform as it is like a relay race, isn't it? If I say I don't want to give that thing, no, whatever you're circulating, I don't give, and that whole team will get lost. Similar to that. So if we don't become part of this cycle, then we are our whole life is a waste, because we are of no use to this society. We don't deserve to be staying also, actually, because when you are born, perform the karma as a yajna. So he who fails to understand and he only he wants to satisfy himself, then it is a waste life. So most of us leave alone this cycle. We live in isolation. Today's generation, if you see, each one lives, that is called living in silos, isolation, silos they say. Each one is living in their own world. If you ask, no, I want my space, I want my space. Leave alone this kind of chakra. Even in the younger generation, I am not very pessimistic, but then I have seen, and it works well also. But rather than that, if we work in coherence, in harmony, give and take, and there could be something going wrong when we give or when we take, still it's okay. But when we work in a team, or when we work together, and little bit of sacrifice here, little bit of sacrifice there, that is how the system should work. System should not, because everything we have now on the system. We have movies on the system, we can do so many things, and we can satisfy our intelligence, everything is there. But what about the human relationship, isn't it? So the cycle means you should work in community with the nature. Leave alone community with the nature. If you want to work, if you want to bring out some accomplishment, it will always be with the participation of so many people. You have to put up with so many people at home or in society or in your profession. So how do we deal with them, and how do we interact with them without letting our focus deviate? Our focus is karma, yajna, this one. Keeping this in mind, anything that comes on the way, we try to balance it and just progress. Then we are definitely going to be growing in our positivity, or we are going to be evolving, or we are going towards liberation. So everything that happens in our life around must be taken seriously from the Bhagavad Gita perspective, on how we can navigate through that. It's called navigation. How do we navigate through different situations, keeping that goal in our mind, that this should be performed as a yajna, and I should perform it with others, everyone. There may be misunderstanding, there may be difference of opinion, there may be contradictions. Whatever it is, I should not stop, because next shloka comes like that. So he says, the person who does not follow this chakra of interdependence, I would like to use that word. This chakra is interdependent. Each one is dependent on the other. So that we should remember, and if the entire life is always, it is give and take. We can never survive individually. Even if you live alone, you need rains for the grains to survive, isn't it? You need, oh, Peter has come. Hi Peter. Welcome. Yeah, we finished few shlokas, no problem. I am recording. So we were discussing 16th shloka. So the human person, we human beings are part of this ecosystem, which includes the food grains, the rains, and yajna. So all are, as I said, interdependent. We perform yajna as a homa havana, as a sacrifice of fire, as well as karma yajna. So with the karma yajna means hard work and offering to the god. So with these, there is a vibration created, and devatas are pleased, if you believe that, or the environment becomes charged. Maybe some scientists will prove how this yajna and this mentally offering or less egoism creates a vibe which is likely to influence, probably it is like that, which is likely to influence the matter around us, and then it rains, and the rains will nourish the fertile land, and then the grains and the food comes out to nourish the people. People again have to perform similar yajna. So that is the meaning of 16th shloka. Now, yastu atmaratireva syat atmatruptascha manavah atmanyeva cha santushtah tasya karyam na vidyate. So he says, so this is how a person who does not fall in this cycle of whatever we described now, interdependence, his life is a waste life. On the contrary, one who is established in the higher self, atma ratireva syat, atmatruptascha manavah. One, there are people who perform such actions and then they reach a state, that's the whole meaning, hidden meaning, a state where his mind is always absorbed in Atma, that means the Satchidananda, Paramatma. He is always happy to live in that bliss, Atma ratireva syat, and he is always satisfied with in that state of mind. He doesn't want to interact. He has done all that homework. He did all the work with duty, yajna, all that he has done. Then if you keep doing like this, you will reach a state when you will just be in the self and you are happy there. And for such a person, there is no such karma, yajna, duty, responsibility, nothing, because he has already transcended that part of his life. That means Krishna says, now the meaning interpretation is that if you perform karma, if you perform with full surrender, and if you offer the results of your actions, you express your gratitude with this bent of mind or with this attitude, when you perform your actions, slowly your mind is cleansed and there is God's grace. Once the two start happening, it picks up a kind of momentum. That means it goes with a very high speed. High speed means you progress very fast, and then you reach a state when you attain that realization wherein you find that at most this Chidananda is within me and everywhere. You identify that is a state of samadhi, and that time Krishna says there is no duty, no karma yajna, nothing. Nothing is expected from such a person because he has already reached. So they say it is like, let's say somebody comes to your house as a maid. She performs her work, and once it is done, Why will she stay back? She is employed for 2 hours. After 2 hours, she will go. It's done. We don't have any relationship. Similarly, as long as a person, until he reaches this state, he has to perform all this, whatever we said, not for self pleasure, offering, do it as a yajna, do it as an offering. So, with this perspective, keep on doing, and then the grace flows, and then you can reach. So, that is the state of realization. That is the meaning of this. Then, नैव तस्य कृतेनार्थो नाकृते नेह कश्चन न चास्य सर्वभूतेषु कश्चित् अर्थव्यपाश्रयः. So such individuals have nothing to gain, nothing to lose, either by performing the duties or not performing the duties. Whether they perform or not perform, they have already reached a stage where they are liberated. Nothing is expected. They need not perform, but they will do. What they will do, I will tell you. In the next shloka it will come. Nachasya sarvabhuteshu kaschid. They need not depend on anybody. Ashraya. They need not depend on anybody. What does it mean? Supposing one among us becomes such a realized person, what do? We may stay at home, or we may go. Whatever you do, no, you need not struggle for your existence. When you reach that stage, everything happens automatically. You will sit in Bhagavad Bhava or Atma Bhava. You will sing, or you will do japa, or you will meditate, or you may start preaching the people, and you will feel that's the only thing in life. Then what happens is others will take care of your sustenance. You need not work for your food. You need not work for your house. Everything will be provided. Because we have seen, no, yoga kshemam vahamyaham. Krishna will take care. So that is the path in which a spiritual seeker will travel. So he will not have, once he reaches that stage, so he has nothing to do in this world. He is happy to himself. He has got over it. As long as this body is there, he will survive. And then what happens is he will become somebody like Janaka. That's like next shloka, 20th shloka. Now he says, तस्मात् असक्तः सततं कार्यं कर्म समाचर असक्तो याचरन् कर्म परमाप्नोति पुरुषः. So he says, therefore, Arjuna, you have to do karma with detachment. Asaktah, detachment towards the results. Enjoy your work. Again he brings it back. Karma yajna is nothing but karma yoga. Asaktah, and one more, satatam karyam. Satatam means constantly. Arjuna, never give up the action. Never say I just want to give up my action. Whatever, any form, keep doing the work with detachment. Any work does, what type of work you do doesn't matter, but what attitude you take while performing an action, that matters. Therefore, what is the attitude we should take? That of detachment. Detachment means I do not have any right on the results. I have right only how best I can do my work and surrender it to God. Asakto yacharan karma, a person who performs in this detachment, paramapnoti purushaha. Such a person attains parama, means supreme being or liberation. Yadyat acharati shresthaha tat tat. Sorry, I missed one more is there in between, the 20th shloka. कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिं आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसंग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि. So he says, now he is giving one example. See, Janaka Raja is Sita Maya's father. Rama's wife is Sita. Rama's father-in-law is Janaka. Janaka's name is always taken. He was an emperor, but he was a Siddhi Purusha. He had attained that state, Samadhi Sthiti. How did he do? He performed every action as Karma Yajna, with Karma Yoga. We must read, there are books written on Janaka. Next time I will come with some stories. There is one of his interaction with Ashtavakra Gita. Ashtavakra, interaction of Janaka with Ashtavakra. Beautiful it is. So, and also I think with Shuka, something like that. So he says, Janaka and all, whatever I have told you now, Arjuna, Janaka has followed similar things, similar steps and he has achieved. And but then what do? Once they achieve, they don't isolate themselves, they continue to do preach or do something for loka sangraham evapi sampashyan kartumarhasi. So they attain perfection, and with a view to ensure loka sangraha, you should perform action. So loka sangraha means for the welfare of the mankind. So these people also, they attain that state and still continue to do japa, dhyana and everything for others. And you also, Arjuna, keep working. What should be your action? For the welfare. Our action always, you see, should have one common statement, that is bahujana hitaya bahujana sukhaya. So the basic principle of inclusivity, what we talk in today's generation, is any action we take, it should be useful for many people. Bahujana hitaya, it should be for the welfare of many people, and it should be for the happiness of many people. Bahujana hitaya bahujana sukhaya. The entire principle of Swami Vivekananda also is that. So when you do service, it is not for your personal gain, it should not be for your recognition, your awards, your everything. No, anything should be, whether you get an award, you are getting recognition or not, that is immaterial. You must work. Any work should be for the welfare of many people. Any decision we take, when we are in a dilemma, which decision suits many people, that is the way we must think always, and we should choose our actions which is in the interest of many people. It is not never only for you. Of course, not at my cost. I cannot suffer and make others happy. No, but along with me, it should benefit so many people. Along with it should not be only for me. It should be benefiting so many people. So that is today's listing. Very beautiful. So he says, yajnas are important. Yajna per se are important, and perform karma as yajna. And you can, there are so many deva devatas who can be pleased by your yajnas, and maintain a cordial relationship with these devatas, have mutual understanding, and then once you get your desire fulfilled, offer it back to them. Practice the system, practice the attitude of gratitude. Exactly, that's what gratitude. That means when we are offering God, it is your prasad and I'm enjoying it. So first I will give it to you, and then I will take food or success, whatever. And this can be practiced in our day-to-day interactions with people also, acknowledging every person's contribution to anything you do, just expressing a thanks or messaging, acknowledge. This builds up the habit of expressing gratitude. Even for our students today, they are not bad, but my experience says as soon as I pass out from our phase 2 where I was teaching, they don't know that they should come and acknowledge, they should come and thank to people who contributed. So this has to be told to our students, our children, to people around, and we also must practice the habit of expressing gratitude. And humans are part of the cycle of this I'm just summarizing, of this ecosystem, which includes the human effort, which leads to all the forces of nature such as the rains and everything to happen at the right time, and then the growth, agricultural produce, and that produce which again influences the human performance. So it's an ecosystem of which we are part. This is what Krishna has told today. And then if you are you are absorbed in the Atma Bhava, then there is no duty for you. But until then, if you are working for your pleasing yourself and not for others, then you are going in a negative direction. Your evolution or liberation will not happen if that is your attitude. So that is for today. Any questions or anything to be added? So very interesting, step by step Krishna is taking us with lot of, I should say evidence, like Janaka. He brings examples, many examples, and he goes with whatever we have read today. It seems very reasonable, very reasonable also. We can relate to that, right? Yeah. Anything, Padmini, Chaitali? Anything you have to add? So that was good, Chaitali. Brahmarpanam, Brahmavihi. Let's practice this. Whenever we have our food, we offer and then we eat. Brahmarpanam, Brahmahavihi, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. is we have to chant before we take our food, so that we are offering and we are taking that. Anybody would like to add anything?